She didn't scream when he dragged her by the wrist, though her eyes pleaded with the world to see her. In the corner, a man with a scar beneath his eye and blood on his hands stood silently watching, and for the first time in years, he felt something. Have you ever seen something wrong, but didn't know if stepping in would cost you everything? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The clinking of silverware, the hiss of steak hitting a pan, the constant murmur of laughter and low jazz humming through the speakers. That was the rhythm of Lena's world, a rhythm she had perfected navigating without ever being seen. She moved like steam, soft, silent, and gone before anyone noticed. Hair tucked into a low bun, uniform slightly too big, shoulders always curled inward. To the guests, she was just another name tag. To the other staff, a harmless ghost who never raised her voice or took a break. She never complained when shifts ran long, never said a word when tips were stolen from her tray, and she certainly didn't look up when the manager, Frank, brushed too close behind her. Not anymore. "Lena!" he barked from the doorway of the kitchen, voice sharp, tone thick with something unspoken. "I need you to restock the bathroom towels now." "Yes, sir," she murmured, voice barely more than breath. He didn't look at her when she passed, just let his eyes drop lower than they should have, lingering with ownership. In the mirror of the hallway as she passed, Lena didn't see a woman. She saw a ghost, wearing a name tag. A girl who forgot how to be loud, who learned, young, that silence was safer. But even ghosts long to be seen. Nico Romano didn't come to the Velvet Vine for the food. He came because it was neutral ground, a place where deals were struck over creme brulee, where enemies clinked wine glasses before disappearing out back and never being seen again. He sat in the corner booth, shadowed by a gold-lit wine shelf. His black suit didn't wrinkle. His tie was midnight red. His eyes, unreadable. No one dared approach unless summoned. No waiter, no host. Just silence around him like a force field of fear. But then there was her. He'd noticed her weeks ago, the shy one, the one who never looked at anyone's eyes, who flinched at sounds too loud, who moved like she wished she didn't exist. She never served him directly, but he watched her. Not out of lust, out of curiosity. Something about her didn't belong in this world, not in his world. She was too soft, too breakable. He didn't want to break her, and that scared him more than anything. If this story resonated with you, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because tomorrow I will be giving you another story just as crazy as this one, and you don't want to miss it. Now let us begin. Lena stacked folded towels into the basket at the back of the supply closet near the restrooms, fingers trembling slightly. Frank's shadow loomed in the narrow hallway. "Lena!" She turned, basket in hand. He stepped in, closed the door behind him. "This isn't—"
"Shut up." His voice was low, but loaded. From the dining area, laughter echoed, glasses clinked. No one would hear. Nico's eyes flicked toward the hallway as he swirled the scotch in his glass. His bodyguard, Leo, leaned in. "It's the girl, the shy one." Manager followed her. Nico didn't respond immediately. He stared at the hallway as if weighing something deeper than right or wrong. "You know this ain't our business, boss," Leo added quietly. "Maybe it is." He stood. Back in the hallway, Lena was shaking now. Frank's hand was around her wrist, yanking her toward the staff restroom. "Please, let me go." "You think you're too good for this job?" He spat, breath hot. "You owe me." Suddenly, the hallway light dimmed. A shadow stepped into the corridor. Frank froze. Lena's eyes widened. Nico didn't raise his voice. Didn't need to. Let her go. Frank turned. His grip didn't loosen, but his voice did. Sir, this ain't what it looks like. Nico took one step closer. No rage, just quiet fury. Lena could barely breathe. This man, this stranger. His eyes weren't kind, but they weren't cruel. They were watching. For the first time in years, someone saw her. No one moved. Not Lena, not Frank, not the man in the black suit, whose mere presence made the walls feel smaller, tighter, heavier. Nico's eyes didn't blink. Let her go. Frank's hand unclenched like it was burning. Lena stumbled back, breath shallow, hands wrapping around her own arms. She didn't look up. Nico tilted his head. You think this is how you manage staff? Frank licked his lips, tried to laugh. It's just a misunderstanding. She was slacking again. I was just... Nico stepped closer. He didn't yell. He didn't raise a fist. But his voice came out like a death sentence. Touch her again, and you'll be washing your teeth out of that sink. Frank swallowed. Yes, sir. Nina heard footsteps fading behind her as Frank vanished around the corner, tail between his legs, then silence. The kind that filled your ears when your heart beat too loud. She didn't turn to face him. Couldn't. She just stared down at her trembling hands, ashamed they were shaking, ashamed she didn't scream, ashamed she didn't do something. Are you all right? His voice was softer now, like thunder had turned to rain. She nodded, but that was a lie. Nico noticed. You don't have to lie. That caught her off guard. She looked up, just barely. Her eyes met his for a split second. Something cracked. Do I know you? She asked, voice almost a whisper. No, but I know his type. Back in the dining area, all remained normal. Jazz still danced through the air, waiters still smiled, couples still toasted to anniversaries and first dates. But for Lena, nothing was the same. She stood behind the bar, pretending to organize silverware while her heartbeat thundered in her throat. He was still there, that man, table 7, the one with eyes like a storm and silence like a weapon. And now she owed him. That terrified her. People who wanted something always found ways to collect. Hours passed. The night dragged on. Frank kept his distance, face flushed, hands stuffed deep in his pockets every time he walked past her. Lena tried to disappear again, but the world wouldn't let her. At the end of the shift, just before she could slip out the back door into the night, a voice stopped her.
Wait! She turned. It was Nico. He stood alone in the hallway, coat in hand. Walk with me. She hesitated. No strings, he added, I swear. They walked under dim streetlights, side by side, silence folding between them like a blanket neither knew how to hold. You shouldn't have done that, she finally said. Why not? Because he'll find a way to get back at you. He won't. She glanced at him. You speak like a man who's used to threats. He smiled, but it was a sad smile. I've been both the threat and the one threatened. Lena looked away. So have I, she said softly. Nico paused, looked at her for real. For the first time, he didn't just see her shyness. He saw the shape of a scar that went deeper than anything physical. You don't owe him anything, you know, he said. Whatever he tells you, it's a lie. Her eyes glassed. I know, but sometimes knowing isn't enough. She stopped walking. "Why did you help me?" He didn't answer right away. Then, "Because I saw myself in you." Lena blinked. "You're quiet, careful, always watching. That means someone taught you not to trust the world." She inhaled sharply, lips parting, but said nothing. "And maybe that someone should have disappeared a long time ago," he added quietly. The streetlight flickered above them. She nodded once, like a curtain being drawn closed again. "Thank you," she whispered, and then she walked away, coat clutched tight, head held just a little higher. Nico watched her go, didn't follow, didn't speak, but inside, deep inside, something stirred. He'd seen blood, death, betrayal, loyalty bought and sold, but tonight he saw fear, and he hated it. Not because she was afraid of him, but because someone else had taught her to live like that. And if he could do anything, to change that, he would. Nico helped her once, but what would you do if someone dangerous stepped in when you were at your lowest? Would you trust them or run? Tell us in the comments. Lena was 20 minutes early the next evening. The restaurant hadn't even unlocked its doors yet. She swept the floors twice, wiped menus that were already clean, and rearranged salt shakers into perfect rows, just so her hands wouldn't shake. She hadn't slept, not really. Nico's voice still echoed in her head, "Because I saw myself in you." She didn't know what that meant, and she didn't want to. People like him didn't get involved without a reason, and people like her didn't survive when they let themselves hope. Frank was all charm the next day. Too much charm. He didn't yell, didn't slam doors, he even said, "Please." But Lena felt the threat in every smile. She avoided eye contact, took twice as long doing prep, and stayed out of sight. Still, she knew this wasn't over. The storm was just delayed, and storms always came. Nico didn't return to the Velvet Vine the next night, or the one after. He told himself it was to avoid suspicion, keep things clean, respect boundaries. But the truth, he was shaken. And Nico Romano didn't get shaken. He'd seen men gutted in alleyways, held a dying friend's hand while police sirens wailed in the distance. He had enemies in every zip code. Power, fear, respect. But that girl, Lena, with her eyes full of silence and wrists covered in old bruises, she got under his skin in a way bullets never had.
On the third night, Nico came back. He told Leo he was hungry. Leo didn't argue. He knew better. But when they stepped through the doors, Lena was gone. Nico's eyes scanned the room. His stomach dropped with something he didn't recognize at first. Panic? Regret? "New girl said she quit," a busboy mentioned, clearing glasses nearby. "Didn't even pick up her last paycheck." Nico's jaw clenched. "When?" "Yesterday morning." Gone. Just like that. Back in the car, Leo finally asked, "You want me to look into it?" Nico didn't answer for a long time. Then, "No." Leo frowned. "No? She doesn't need me showing up at her door like some debt collector. She also doesn't need to be hiding from a man like Frank." Nico lit a cigarette. The flame highlighted the scar under his left eye. "You think I don't know that?" Leo said nothing. "Maybe I should have stayed out of it. Maybe I made it worse." "You didn't touch her," Leo said quietly. "But you saw her. Maybe that's scarier for her than anything." Nico's exhale was long and heavy. "Yeah, I know the feeling." Lena wasn't gone. Not really. She'd quit the restaurant, yes, but she hadn't left the city. She was working nights at a rundown bakery 2 neighborhoods away, washing trays and burning her fingers on hot sheet pans. It wasn't much. The pay was worse, but there were no hallways, no Frank, no eyes watching her when she bent down to tie her shoe. Still,
Every night she walked home under the streetlight, she half hoped she'd see a figure in a black coat, and hated herself for it. Back at the Velvet Vine, Frank was emboldened again. No witnesses, no consequences, no girl with eyes that men flinch at. He was untouchable. Until he started asking questions. About Nico. About why a man like him cared about a quiet little waitress. And that was a mistake. Lena sat alone on her mattress that night. No bed frame, just the floor. Her back against the wall, her hands holding a chipped teacup she hadn't used in months. She stared at the door. And for the first time in her life, she considered opening it before someone knocked. But she was afraid. Of being hurt. Of being saved. Of being seen. When fear pushes people apart, is silence the safe choice or the most dangerous one? Tell us, have you ever walked away from something that felt too real, too fast? Lena had a routine now. Up by 6, bakery by 7, burnt toast by 7:15. She liked routines. They didn't scream, they didn't grab wrists. So when the bell above the bakery door jingled at 7:32 a.m., she didn't even glance up. Until she heard the voice. 2 coffees. 1 black, 1 with 3 sugars. Her hand stilled over the register. That voice didn't belong here. She looked up. Big mistake. His eyes were just dark. They searched. Like he wanted to uncover every wound she thought she'd buried. Why are you here? His answer was so simple, it knocked the air out of her lungs. Because I didn't want the last time I saw you to be the last time I saw you. She handed him the coffee. He took it, fingers brushing hers. Electric. She pulled back too fast. He noticed, but didn't say anything. Frank's asking around, Nico said after a moment. Her eyes widened. About me? About me and you. Lena swallowed hard. I didn't tell him anything, she whispered. I know. Then why does he care? Because men like Frank don't like feeling small. She flinched. Nico regretted the tone instantly. I didn't come to scare you, he said, softer now. I came to make sure he doesn't. Later that day, a black car pulled up outside the bakery. Lena didn't want to get in, but she did. Because an hour earlier, Nico had told her what Frank was planning, how he was trying to get her address from old employment forms. And just like that, her new safety crumbled. His apartment wasn't what she expected. Minimalist, clean. Not cold, but not lived in either. Like he had money, but no comfort. She sat stiffly on the edge of his couch. He handed her a hoodie. Yours was soaked. She took it. It smelled like laundry soap and something warmer underneath. Thank you, she said. For this. For everything. I don't do this often, he said. She looked up. Help people? He shook his head. Let people in. They were alone. In the silence, everything felt louder. The hum of the fridge, the rain tapping the window, even her heartbeat. You're not what I expected. She felt cue. What did you expect? She hesitated. A monster. A pause. Then, I used to be. That should have terrified her. It didn't. It made her chest ache. Why did you stop? She asked. I haven't. but when I saw you in that hallway, I wanted to." Nico made pasta. Lena helped, awkwardly, chopping mushrooms too thick and spilling sauce on the counter. He didn't scold. He just laughed once under his breath and handed her a towel. After dinner, they sat on opposite ends of the couch. The distance felt intentional, but the silence wasn't cold anymore. "You don't have to stay," he said. "If you want to leave, I'll drive you myself." "I don't know where I'd go," she admitted. "Then you stay." Simple. Like breathing. She stood up, hesitated, then crossed to his side of the couch, sat next to him. Not close, but closer. "You don't scare me," she said quietly. "I should." "You don't." He turned to look at her, and for once, she didn't look away. "Do you believe two people can begin to trust each other after just one shared moment of pain? Would you have gotten in the car? Drop your thoughts below." It was nearly 3 a.m. Lena stood by the window in Nico's living room, cradling a glass of water. The city below shimmered with late-night neon, but her reflection in the glass was softer now, less haunted. She didn't hear him walk in. "You okay?" Nico asked behind her. "I don't sleep much," she replied. He didn't either. "Want to talk about it?" She shook her head. "No one ever really wants to hear it." "I'm not no one?" She sat down, legs tucked under her. The words came slowly, like peeling off old scabs. "My mom was loud. Not the kind fun." Nico said nothing, just listened. She'd throw whatever was in her hands when she got angry. Plates, bottles, me. She looked at the floor. "By the time I was 15, I knew how to stop bleeding with a t-shirt and tape. At 17, I ran." Nico's hand tightened on the glass in his own lap. "I worked in diners, took night shifts, kept quiet. That's how I survived. The quieter I was, the less I bled." She swallowed. "Frank reminded me of her. Not just his temper, but how he looked at me like I owed him for breathing." Nico didn't speak for a long time. Then softly, "You didn't deserve any of that. No one ever said that before."
Then they were wrong. Lena turned to him now. "What about you?" she asked. He leaned back, exhaled through his nose. "I used to think control was everything, that if I had power, no one could ever hurt me or the people I cared about." "You lost someone?" she asked gently. He nodded. "My little brother, Carlo. He was 16. Got mixed up in something he shouldn't have." A pause. His jaw clenched. "I should have protected him." Lena's eyes softened. "What happened?" "Gun deal gone bad. I got there too late. I still remember the blood on my hands when I held him." She covered her mouth. "I never talk about it," he said. "Never let myself go back there. But with you..." Another pause. "You don't flinch when I tell you these things. You just listen." She reached out, fingertips brushing the back of his hand. It wasn't much, but it was more than anyone had given him in years. The next morning, the quiet was broken. A knock at the door. Nico opened it. Leo stood there, face tense. "We've got a problem." Lena stood behind Nico, pulling the hoodie tighter around herself. Leo looked at her, then back to Nico. "Frank's been talking, a lot. Word's getting out. Some people think you've gone soft." Let them think it, Nico said flatly. But Leo didn't move. One of them is looking to make a move tonight. Nico didn't blink. On me? He hesitated. No, on her. Lena froze. She has nothing to do with this, Nico snapped. That's not how they see it. You protected her, you sheltered her, you brought her here. Lena backed away slowly, her pulse racing. I didn't ask for this. I know, Nico said, turning to her. I just wanted to feel safe. You are safe. No, Nico, I'm in more danger than ever, just by being near you. She was trembling now. He reached for her. She stepped back. You said you used to be a monster, she said, voice cracking. But you still live in that world. I live in it, because it's the only way to survive in it. She shook her head. And what if I don't want to survive like that? They stared at each other. Two broken pasts. Two impossible paths. I don't want to be saved. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to stand beside you. She closed her eyes. That was the problem. No one had ever said that before. Is it possible to heal in a world that's still breaking you? And can love really survive when danger lives just outside the door? Nico didn't sleep. Not because of threats, but because of what she'd said. I don't want to survive like that. It echoed through his mind, like a prayer and a warning. She was right. He was dragging her back into a world she'd fought to escape. And yet, she hadn't walked out the door. Not yet. When he entered the living room, she was curled up on the couch, legs under her, hoodie sleeves pulled over her hands. A book sat open in her lap, worn, yellowed. He couldn't see the title. She didn't look up. You make a habit of pacing like a caged lion? She murmured. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. He made eggs. Terribly. Is that supposed to be scrambled? She teased, eyeing the burnt pan. I don't usually cook for people, he said. That's painfully clear. But she smiled, and he grinned. It was the first time she'd smiled like that, unguarded. They sat side by side on the counter stools, eating mismatched breakfasts, his coffee, her tea, burnt toast, overcooked eggs. For once, it felt normal. Too normal. Like maybe this wasn't the eye of the storm. Maybe it was something else. He played music while he washed dishes. Old jazz, scratchy and slow. Lena closed her eyes as the horns wrapped around her like a warm blanket. You like this kind of music? She asked. My mom did. He didn't say more.
She didn't need him to. Instead, she said, My dad used to dance to this in the kitchen, badly. He'd twirl me in circles until I got dizzy. There was a pause. Then, from Nico, Want to show me how? She blinked. He held out a hand. She stared at it, then took it. They swayed. Badly. Offbeat. Awkward. But it wasn't about rhythm. It was about proximity. Her cheek near his hand steady on her back, their breaths in sync. She closed her eyes, rested her head against his shoulder. I forgot what this felt like, she whispered. What? Being near someone and not flinching. His hand tightened gently. I'd never hurt you, Lena. I know. And she did. That afternoon, they built a puzzle. Of all things, a puzzle. He found it in the back of a closet, half the pieces missing. She laughed when she saw it, the kind of laugh that made her eyes water. You don't seem like a puzzle guy.
she said. I'm not. Then why do you have one? He paused. It belonged to Carlo. She stopped laughing. I'm sorry, she said quietly. It's okay. I like hearing his name out loud. She looked at the jigsaw spread across the table, at the pieces that would never fit together. You ever feel like that? Like something's missing and it always will be? He nodded once, and neither of them said another word for a while. That night, she stood at the edge of his hallway, towel wrapped around her after a shower, hair dripping onto her shoulders. He looked up from the couch, startled. She paused, embarrassed. Sorry, she said, stepping back. No, don't apologize. They stood there, still, breathing, close. Too close. She tilted her head. He leaned slightly forward. Their lips were almost, but she stopped. So did he. The tension between them shimmered like heat off pavement. You should rest, he said, hoarse. She nodded. Yeah. And walked away. That night, she slept in his bed. He took the couch. She lay there staring at the ceiling. Her fingers grazed the pillow where his scent lingered faintly, cedar and clean linen. She smiled softly to herself, because even though nothing had happened, everything had changed. Sometimes the smallest acts, burnt eggs, shared music, a puzzle, heal the biggest wounds. What small gesture once made you feel seen or safe? It was a Thursday. Rain again, the kind that blurred headlights and made the city feel like a memory. Nico came home with blood on his knuckles and a silence in his eyes. Lena was on the couch reading. She looked up and froze. What happened? He didn't answer right away. Just peeled off his coat, tossed it on a chair. I handled it. Her voice lowered. What did you handle, Nico? He sighed. Frank, and the guys asking about you. They won't be asking again. Something shifted in her eyes. You hurt them? She asked. He didn't say no. Didn't say anything at all. She stood, hands clenched. You thought you said you were trying to leave that life. I never said that. Yes, you did. You said when you saw me, you wanted to. He exhaled hard. Wanting and being able to are two different things. She looked at his bruised hands, then at his face, and saw it. The man she almost kissed was also the man who left other men bleeding in alleyways. I didn't ask you to do this, she whispered. No, he said. You didn't, but I'm not going to sit here and let people circle you like vultures. You're not my responsibility. You're not a burden, Lena. No, I'm not yours. Period. His voice rose, sharper now. So what, you want me to stand back? Let them come after you? Let the cycle repeat? I've survived worse. That's not the point. Then what is? He stepped closer. The point is, I care about you, and maybe that's stupid, maybe it's dangerous, but it's real, and I'm not going to stand by while this city chews you up. She blinked. You care? Yes. She laughed, but it was bitter. That's rich. You care, so you beat people into silence. That's love to you? His face fell. That's all I know how to do. Her voice softened, but broke. Then maybe we don't speak the same language. She walked past him, toward the hallway.
He followed. "Where are you going?" "I don't know." "Lena!" "I trusted you, Nico. I let myself believe that maybe we could be something safe." He stepped back like her words slapped him. "But you're not safe. You're just a different kind of danger." She turned, went to the bedroom, packed a small bag with trembling hands. He stood in the doorway, helpless. "Don't go." "I have to." She stopped at the door, spoke without turning. "I'm not mad you did what you did. I'm mad you didn't tell me." Silence. "I thought this thing between us was honest, but you're still hiding behind violence like it's armor." He whispered, "It is armor." And she finally looked at him. "I don't need a knight in armor, Nico. I need someone who knows how to lay it down." Then she left. That night, Nico sat on the edge of the bed she used to sleep in. One of her earrings was still on the nightstand. He held it between his fingers, like it might whisper something if he listened hard enough, but it didn't. She went back to the bakery. They let her crash in the storeroom for a few days. It was cold, smelled like yeast and burnt sugar. But no one raised their voice. No one made promises, and no one touched her. She should have felt safe. She didn't. Because sometimes safety isn't about walls. It's about who is behind them. Nico avoided the velvet vine. Even Leo knew not to bring up Lena. He worked, he sat in silence, he drank alone. But she was in everything. The way he paused before locking his door, the mug he never let anyone else touch, the song that came on the radio and made him clench his jaw. He missed her in stupid ways, like how she used to hum while brushing her teeth, or how she always stirred her teeth 3 times, never more. Lena lay awake at night. Nico's words haunted her. "That's all I know how to do." And she hated that part of her still wanted to hold the hands that hurt others. Because he never hurt her. He protected her. But at what cost? Have you ever had to walk away from someone not because they didn't love you, but because they didn't know how?
3 days. That's how long it had been since she walked out. Each minute felt like glass in his chest. He hadn't left the apartment much, didn't go back to the restaurant, didn't take calls, didn't answer when Leo knocked. Instead, he sat in the silence, alone, with her earrings still on the nightstand, with a mug she used, with a hoodie that still smelled like her hair. He'd spent years in command, in control, untouchable, and now he couldn't even find the words to text her. Because what did you say to someone who finally made you want to be better, and then saw the worst of you? He opened the phone. Typed, "You okay?" Backspace. Typed, "I'm sorry." Deleted again. He stared at the screen for a long time, thumb hovering. Finally, he typed 3 words. Simple, honest. "I miss you." Sent. He dropped the phone on the bed like it might burn him. Then sat back, waiting. She read the message an hour later. Didn't reply. Her hands trembled, not because she was afraid of him, but because she wasn't, and that terrified her more. She stood in the bakery's backroom bathroom staring at her reflection. Same dark circles, same tucked hair, same tired eyes. But something was different. She felt different. She'd run her whole life from pain, from people, from touch. But with Nico, she didn't run because of what he did. She ran because of what she felt.
hope, and it scared her to death. She grabbed a pen, wrote on the back of an old invoice, "You scared me, but not the way Frank did, not the way my mother did. You scared me because you saw all the pieces of me I've spent years hiding, and you didn't flinch. You didn't run. I did." She folded it, stuffed it in her coat pocket, left it there. That night, she walked 6 blocks in the wrong direction before admitting to herself where she really wanted to go. Then she turned around, hailed a cab, spoke the address out loud for the first time. His address. He was dozing on the couch. The sound of knuckles against wood made him sit up like he'd been shot. He crossed the room, heart in his throat. Opened the door. There she was. Hair damp from mist, eyes soft, posture unsure. She didn't say anything at first. Neither did he. Finally, "You didn't answer." "I didn't know how." He stepped aside. She entered. She sat. Same couch, same distance between them. He didn't try to move closer. "I got your message," she said quietly. "I meant it." "I know." More silence. Then, "You said protecting me was all you knew, but you can protect without hurting. You can be strong without destroying things." "I've never been taught how." "Then learn," she said, voice trembling. "Learn with me. Not for me. With me." He looked at her. Saw the girl who once hid behind silence, now sitting there offering truth like a lifeline. "I want to," he whispered. She nodded. "Then show me." He held out his hand. She stared at it, just like she did the night he offered her that slow dance in the kitchen. Only this time, she didn't hesitate. Would you take someone back, not because they changed overnight, but because they chose to try? Have you ever been brave enough to give someone another chance?